Let us begin by understanding what it truly means to act as if you are surrounded by abundance. Many of you may think this is about pretending or deceiving yourself, but I assure you it is far more profound than that. When I speak of acting as if, I am talking about assuming a state of consciousness, embodying a particular way of being in the world. You see, the world you experience is not separate from you. It is not an external reality happening to you. Rather, it is a reflection, an outpicturing of your consciousness. Your assumptions, your beliefs, your instincts, these are the true creators of your reality. And when you act as if you are surrounded by abundance, you are assuming a state of abundance consciousness. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, how can I act as if I'm surrounded by abundance when my bank account is empty, when I'm struggling to pay my bills? And this, my dear friends, is where the true power of this principle lies. For it is precisely in those moments of apparent lack that this practice becomes most potent. You must understand that your outer world of form is nothing more than a shadow, a reflection of your inner world of consciousness. What you see around you right now, your financial situation, your relationships, your health, all of these are effects, not causes. They are the fruits of seeds planted in your consciousness in the past. To change these outer conditions, you must change the cause, which is your state of consciousness. And this is exactly what we do when we act as if we are surrounded by abundance. We are planting new seeds in the fertile soil of our consciousness, seeds that must by univering grow into the fruits of abundance in our outer world. But let me be clear, this is not about denying your current circumstances or burying your head in the sand. It's about shifting your focus, your attention, your energy to the state of abundance you wish to experience. It's about giving more reality to your desired state than to your current conditions. So how do we begin to act as if we are surrounded by abundance? It starts with your imagination. Your imagination is not some frivolous faculty for daydreaming. It is the very workshop in which you create your reality. When you imagine yourself surrounded by abundance, you are, in a very real sense, experiencing that abundance now. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine yourself in a state of complete abundance. See yourself living in the home of your dreams. Feel the satisfaction of having more than enough money to cover all your needs and desires. Experience the joy of being able to give generously to others. Make this imaginal scene as vivid and as real as possible. Now here's the crucial part. You must feel the feeling of this abundance. Feel the gratitude, the joy, the freedom that comes with being surrounded by abundance. For it is the feeling that gives life to your imaginal act. It is the feeling that impresses this new state upon your subconscious mind. As you open your eyes and return to your present surroundings, carry that feeling with you. Let it infuse your thoughts, your words, your actions. This is what it means to act as if you are surrounded by abundance. You are living from the state of abundance, regardless of what your current circumstances might suggest. Now, some of you might be wondering, well, Neville, isn't this just fooling myself? Isn't this denial of reality? To this I say, what you call reality is far more fluid, far more malleable than you have been led to believe. Your physical senses show you a world of effects, but true causation lies in your consciousness. When you act as if you are surrounded by abundance, you are not denying your current circumstances. You are transcending them. You are exercising your divine power to choose the state from which you will live. And as you persist in this new state, your outer world must reshape itself to match your inner conviction. Let us delve deeper into the practical application of this principle. How do you maintain this state of abundance consciousness in your daily life? It begins with your thoughts and your inner conversations. Pay attention to how you think and talk about abundance. Do you constantly focus on what you lack? Do you worry about not having enough? These thoughts and inner conversations are assumptions of scarcity, and they will perpetuate a reality of lack. Instead, consciously choose thoughts and inner conversations that align with abundance. When you look at your bank account, instead of focusing on how little there is, feel gratitude for what you do have. When you pay a bill, instead of feeling resentment or worry, feel appreciation for the services you've received and for your ability to pay. Your words, too, are crucial in this process. The words you speak are like seeds planted in the fertile soil of the universe. Be mindful of the language you use around abundance. Eliminate phrases like "I can't afford it" or "money is tight." Instead, use empowering statements like "I always have more than enough" or "abundance flows to me easily and frequently." Remember, these are not mere affirmations or positive thinking techniques. They are assumptions, states of being that you are choosing to attune. Speak them with conviction, feeling the truth of them in your very being. Now let us address a crucial aspect of acting. As if you are surrounded by abundance, your self-concept. Your self-concept is the sum total of all your beliefs about who you are. And this self-concept is perhaps the most powerful assumption you hold. Many people struggle to experience abundance because their self-concept contradicts the state of abundance. They may visualize having plenty, but deep down, they don't believe they are the kind of person who can be abundant. They may have limiting beliefs like "I don't deserve abundance" or "abundance is for other people, not for me." To truly embody the state of abundance, you must be willing to revise your self-concept. You must be willing to see yourself as someone who is naturally abundant, who easily attracts plenty, who deserves to live in a state of overflow. This is not about creating a false image of yourself, but about recognizing and embracing your true, limitless nature. You see, at your core, you are pure consciousness. You are not defined by your past experiences, your current bank balance, or the opinions of others about abundance. You are the awareness in which all these things appear. And this awareness, your true self, is infinite in its potential, including its potential for abundance. When you truly grasp this truth, when you begin to identify with your essential nature rather than your temporary circumstances, you open yourself to limitless abundance. Your subconscious mind, no longer constrained by limiting beliefs, becomes free to manifest the abundant reality you choose to assume. So how do you revise your self-concept to align with abundance? The process is similar to assuming any new state of being. You must vividly imagine yourself as a naturally abundant person. Feel what it's like to be that person. How do they think about resources? How do they make decisions? How do they carry themselves? But remember, this is not about creating a caricature of an abundant person based on societal stereotypes. It's about recognizing and embracing your own unique expression of abundance. You are not becoming someone else. You are becoming more fully yourself. A self that is naturally abundant and overflowing with plenty. As you persistently imagine and feel yourself as this abundant version of you, your subconscious mind will begin to accept this as your new reality. And as your subconscious accepts it, you will naturally begin to think, feel, and act in alignment with this new abundant self-concept. Now let us address another powerful tool in assuming the state of abundance: the use of I am statements. The words I am are incredibly potent. They are, in essence, your definition of yourself. Whatever follows I am is impressed upon your subconscious mind as a truth about your identity. Many people unconsciously use I am statements in ways that perpetuate lack. I am broke, I am struggling, I am always short on money. Each time you make such a statement, you are programming your subconscious mind to create more of that experience. To assume the state of abundance, you must become acutely aware of your I am statements and consciously choose ones that align with plenty and overflow. I am abundant. I am a magnet for prosperity. I am always provided for. I am surrounded by infinite resources. But remember, it's not just about the words. You must feel the truth of these statements as you say them. Your subconscious mind responds to feeling, not just to words. So when you say, I am abundant, feel the security, the freedom, the joy of being abundant. When you say, I am a magnet for prosperity, feel the excitement of good things constantly flowing into your life. As you consistently use I am statements in this way, you are literally reprogramming your subconscious mind. You are impressing upon it a new concept of who you are in relation to abundance. And your subconscious mind will work tirelessly to make this new self-concept your reality. Now let us explore another powerful technique for assuming the state of abundance, the practice of living in the end. This involves mentally dwelling in the state of your wish fulfilled, living as if you are already surrounded by abundance. To practice living in the end, you must create a mental scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire for abundance. This scene should be one that would naturally occur if you were already living in a state of overflow. Perhaps it's the feeling of making a large donation to a cause you care about, or the joy of treating your friends to a lavish dinner without concern for the cost, or the satisfaction of seeing your savings account grow effortlessly. Create this scene in your imagination with as much detail as possible. See it clearly. Hear the sounds associated with it. Feel the emotions you would feel. Then enter into this scene in your imagination. Don't just watch it as a spectator, but experience it from the first-person perspective. Be there in that moment, feeling the reality of being surrounded by abundance. Now, here's the crucial part. You must return to this scene repeatedly. Dwell in it. Make it more real to you than your current circumstances. The more you live in this imaginal scene, the more real it becomes to your subconscious mind. And remember, your subconscious doesn't distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you physically experience. As you persist in living in the end, you may notice changes in your outer world. Opportunities for increase may appear. Your relationship with resources may begin to shift. You may find yourself making different decisions about money and possessions. These are all signs that your new assumption is taking root, reshaping your reality to match your inner conviction of abundance. But here's a word of caution. Do not look for signs. Do not try to figure out how your assumption of abundance will manifest. Your job is simply to assume the state of being abundant, to live from that state in your imagination. The how, the when, the where of its manifestation is not your concern. That belongs to the infinite intelligence of the universe. Now let us address a crucial aspect of assuming the state of abundance, the role of action. Some people mistakenly believe that acting as if you are surrounded by abundance means you can simply imagine plenty and then sit back and wait for it to magically appear. This is not the case. Acting as if you are surrounded by abundance does not negate action. It informs action. When you truly assume the state of abundance, you will naturally be inspired to take actions that align with that state. You may feel compelled to start a new project, to invest in yourself, to give generously to others. These inspired actions flow naturally from your assumed state. The key difference is that these actions are not driven by fear, lack, or the need to get abundance. They are expressions of your assumed state of plenty. You take these actions not to become abundant, but because you are operating from the assumption that you are already abundant. This is a subtle but crucial distinction. When you take action from a place of lack, trying to get abundance, you are actually affirming the assumption of not having enough. But when you take action from the assumption of already being abundant, you open yourself to infinite possibilities for the expression and expansion of that abundance. So do not neglect action, but ensure that your actions are aligned with and flowing from your assumed state of abundance. Let your assumption guide your actions rather than hoping your actions will create the assumption. Now, let us discuss the importance of gratitude in acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. Gratitude is not just a pleasant emotion. It is a powerful creative force. When you feel grateful, you are affirming that you already have what you desire. This aligns perfectly with the principle of acting as if. Begin to cultivate an attitude of gratitude for abundance, even before you see it manifested in your physical reality. Be thankful for the resources you currently have, no matter how little they may seem. Be grateful for every opportunity to receive or give. Feel appreciation for the abundance that surrounds you in all forms. The air you breathe, the sun that shines, the food you eat. As you practice gratitude, you are assuming the state of someone who has plenty, someone who is abundantly provided for. This assumption, persistently held, must manifest in your outer world as increased abundance in all areas of your life. Remember, the feeling of gratitude and the feeling of lack cannot coexist. By cultivating gratitude, you are effectively ignoring the apparent reality of limitation and assuming the state of abundance and plenty. Now, let us address a common challenge in acting as if you are surrounded by abundance, dealing with contradictory evidence. As you begin to assume the state of abundance, you may find that your current circumstances seem to contradict your assumption. Bills may still need to be paid. Financial pressures may still exist. How do you maintain your assumption in the face of these seeming contradictions? This is where the art of ignoring reality comes into play. Remember, what you see in your outer world is the result of past assumptions. It is like an echo of what you once believed. Your task now is to give more attention, more importance, more reality to your new assumption of abundance than to its outdated circumstances. When contradictory evidence appears, acknowledge it briefly, then immediately return your attention to your assumption of abundance. Say to yourself, "This is an old condition passing away. It has no power over my new assumption. I am now surrounded by abundance, provided for in all ways." This practice requires mental discipline. It requires you to stand firm in your new assumption, even when your senses argue against it. But remember, your senses only show you what has been, not what can be. Your imagination, informed by your assumption, shows you what will be. As you persist in your assumption of abundance, even in the face of contradictory evidence, you will begin to see changes in your outer world. These changes may start small, an unexpected gift, a good deal on something unique, a new opportunity to increase your resources. Do not dismiss these as coincidences. They are the first fruits of your new assumption taking root. Now let us explore the concept of detachment in relation to acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. Detachment does not mean you don't care about experiencing abundance. Rather, it means you are not anxiously attached to the outcome or the process of manifesting abundance. When you are detached, you are secure in your assumption of abundance. You don't need constant outer confirmation because you know the truth of your assumption. You don't anxiously look for signs or try to force manifestations because you trust in the perfect unfolding of your assumption. Detachment allows you to enjoy the journey of experiencing abundance without stress or worry. It enables you to take inspired action without being desperate for results. It frees you from the fear of loss because you know that your true abundance comes from your consciousness, not from external circumstances. Practice detachment by reminding yourself that your assumption of abundance is the reality, regardless of what your current situation might show. Trust that as you maintain your assumption, your outer world must conform to it. Be at peace, knowing that your abundance is assured by the power of your assumption. Now let us address the role of persistence in acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. Assuming a new state, especially one that seems far from your current experience, requires persistent effort. You must be willing to persist in your new assumption, even when the outer world seems unchanged, even when doubts arise, even when others question your sanity. Remember, the reality you see around you is the fruit of seeds planted in the past. As you assume the state of being surrounded by abundance, you are planting new seeds. These seeds need time to grow. Your persistence in maintaining your assumption is what waters these seeds and allows them to flourish. Do not be discouraged if you don't see immediate results. Do not waver in your assumption if your circumstances don't change overnight. Persistence is key. Return again and again to your assumption of abundance. Live from that state consistently, persistently, faithfully. It's also important to persist through the doubts and fears that may arise. As you assume a state of abundance that is vastly different from your current experience, your old beliefs and fears may surface. This is natural. Acknowledge these doubts when they arise, but do not give them power. Instead, gently but firmly return to your assumption of abundance. Now let us discuss the importance of feeling and acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. Feeling is the secret of creation. It's not enough to intellectually know that you are assuming a state of abundance. You must feel it. You must experience the emotion of being abundant. What does abundance feel like to you? Is it a feeling of security, of freedom, of joy, of peace of mind? Whatever it is, you must capture that feeling and live in it. Make it your constant companion. Let it inform your thoughts, your words, your actions. Remember, your subconscious mind doesn't understand words as much as it understands feelings. When you consistently feel abundant, you are sending a powerful message to your subconscious that this is your reality. And your subconscious, being the faithful servant it is, will work tirelessly to bring about circumstances that match this feeling. As you go through your day, constantly check in with your feelings. Are you feeling abundant? If not, pause and recall the feeling of abundance. Immerse yourself in it. Let it permeate your being. This constant return to the feeling of abundance is crucial in maintaining your assumption. Now let us address a common pitfall in the journey of assuming abundance, the temptation to compare yourself with others. In today's world, with social media constantly showcasing the abundance of others, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparison. But remember, comparison is the thief of joy, and more importantly, it can undermine your assumption of abundance. When you compare yourself to others, you are implicitly assuming a state of lack. You are focusing on what you don't have rather than on the abundance you are assuming. This sends a conflicting message to your subconscious mind and can slow down or even reverse your progress. Instead of comparing yourself to others, focus on your own journey. Celebrate your own progress, no matter how small it may seem. Remember, you are not in competition with anyone else. Your journey to abundance is unique to you. Trust in your own assumption and in the perfect unfolding of your desires. Let us now explore the concept of giving as it relates to acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. Many people believe that they will give when they have abundance. But this is backwards thinking. Giving is not a result of abundance, it is a cause of abundance. When you give, you are acting from a state of plenty. You are assuming that you have more than enough to share. This assumption, this feeling of having more than enough, is precisely what creates more abundance in your life. So begin to give now from whatever you have. It doesn't have to be money. You can give your time, your attention, your love, your skills. The amount is not important. What's important is the feeling behind the giving, the feeling that you have more than enough to share. As you give, feel the joy of sharing. Feel the satisfaction of being able to make a difference in someone's life. Feel the abundance that allows you to give freely. These feelings are powerful assumptions that will manifest more abundance in your life. Now let us discuss the role of receptivity in acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. Many people focus solely on giving, believing that this is the key to abundance. And while giving is crucial, it is only half of the equation. To truly live in a state of abundance, you must also be open to receiving. Being receptive means being willing to accept the good that comes to you. It means allowing others to give to you, to help you, to support you. It means acknowledging and accepting compliments, opportunities, and blessings that come your way. Many people struggle with receiving. They feel unworthy or uncomfortable accepting help or gifts from others. But remember, in the infinite flow of abundance, giving and receiving are two sides of the same coin. By allowing yourself to receive graciously, you are completing the circuit of abundance. Practice being receptive by saying thank you when someone offers you a compliment or a gift. Accept help when it's offered. Look for the ways in which the universe is attempting to bless you, and be open to receiving those blessings. Now let us explore the concept of circulation as it relates to abundance. Abundance, like all energy, thrives on circulation. When you allow abundance to flow freely through your life, both in giving and receiving, you create a powerful current that attracts more abundance to you. Think of abundance like a river. If a river is dammed up, it becomes stagnant. But when it's allowed to flow freely, it remains fresh and vibrant. The same is true of abundance in your life. When you hold tightly to what you have out of fear of loss, you dam up the flow of abundance. But when you allow it to circulate freely, giving joyfully and receiving graciously, you keep the flow of abundance strong and vital. So look for ways to keep abundance circulating in your life. Spend money wisely but without fear. Give generously but without depleting yourself. Receive openly but without greed. As you do this, you are acting as if you are surrounded by abundance, and your outer world will reshape itself to match this assumption. Now let us address the importance of language in acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. The words you use, both in your inner dialogue and in your conversations with others, are powerful tools for shaping your reality. They are, in essence, declarations to the universe about your state of being. Begin to pay attention to the language you use around abundance. Do you often use phrases like, "I can't afford it," "it's too expensive," or "I never have enough"? These phrases are declarations of lack, and they reinforce a state of scarcity in your consciousness. Instead, choose language that aligns with your assumption of abundance. Replace "I can't afford it" with "I'm choosing to spend my money elsewhere right now." Instead of "it's too expensive," say "it's not in my budget at the moment." Rather than "I never have enough," affirm "I always have more than enough." Remember, this is not about denying your current financial reality. It's about choosing language that leaves room for abundance, that assumes a state of plenty, even when making decisions about how to allocate your resources. As you shift your language, you'll find that your perception of your circumstances begins to shift as well. You'll start to see opportunities where before you saw only limitations. You'll feel a sense of choice and empowerment where before you felt scarcity and constraint. Now let us delve into the role of imagination in acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. Your imagination is not just a faculty for daydreaming or fantasizing. It is the very workshop in which you create your reality. When you imagine yourself surrounded by abundance, you are in a very real sense experiencing that abundance now. Take time each day to use your imagination deliberately. Close your eyes and create vivid mental images of yourself living in abundance. See yourself easily paying your bills, generously giving to causes you care about, enjoying experiences that you desire. Feel the emotions associated with these experiences, the joy, the freedom, the security. As you engage in these imaginal acts, remember that to your subconscious mind, there is no difference between what you vividly imagine and what you actually experience in the physical world. By consistently imagining scenes implying your desired state of abundance, you are impressing this state upon your subconscious mind, which must then work to bring these conditions into your physical reality. Let us now explore the concept of gratitude as it relates to acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. Gratitude is not just a pleasant emotion or a social nicety. It is a powerful creative force. When you feel genuinely grateful, you are affirming that you already have what you desire. This aligns perfectly with the principle of acting as if. Begin to cultivate an attitude of gratitude for abundance, even before you see it manifested in your physical reality. Be thankful for the resources you currently have, no matter how little they may seem. Be grateful for every opportunity to receive or give. Feel appreciation for the abundance that surrounds you in all forms. The air you breathe, the sun that shines, the food you eat. As you practice gratitude, you are assuming the state of someone who has plenty, someone who is abundantly provided for. This assumption, persistently held, must manifest in your outer world as increased abundance in all areas of your life. Now let us address the role of trust in acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. Trust is a crucial component of this practice. You must trust in the law of assumption. You must trust that as you assume a state of abundance, your outer world will conform to this inner conviction. This trust is not blind faith. It is a confidence born of understanding that your consciousness is the one and only reality, that your assumptions shape your world. As you deepen this understanding through study and application, your trust in the process will grow. Trust allows you to remain calm and assured even when your outer circumstances seem to contradict your assumption of abundance. It enables you to persist in your assumption, knowing that the manifestation of your desire is assured by universal law. Cultivate this trust by reminding yourself of past experiences where your assumptions have manifested. Reflect on the times when you've seen the law working in your life, even in small ways. Let these experiences build your confidence in the process. Now let us explore the concept of detachment as it relates to acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. Detachment does not mean you don't care about experiencing abundance. Rather, it means you're not anxiously attached to the outcome or the process of manifesting abundance. When you are detached, you are securing your assumption of abundance. You don't need constant outer confirmation because you know the truth of your assumption. You don't anxiously look for signs or try to force manifestations because you trust in the perfect unfolding of your assumption. Detachment allows you to enjoy the journey of experiencing abundance without stress or worry. It enables you to take inspired action without being desperate for results. It frees you from the fear of loss because you know that your abundance comes from your consciousness, not from external circumstances. Practice detachment by reminding yourself that your assumption of abundance is the reality, regardless of what your current situation might show. Trust that as you maintain your assumption, your outer world must conform to it. Be at peace, knowing that your abundance is assured by the power of your assumption. As we near the conclusion of our discussion, let us reflect on the ultimate purpose of acting as if you are surrounded by abundance. While material prosperity is certainly enjoyable and can provide many opportunities, the true power of this practice lies in the freedom it provides. Freedom to be more fully yourself, to express your gifts, to contribute to the world in meaningful ways. As you act as if you are surrounded by abundance, you may find that your definition of abundance expands. You may discover that true abundance encompasses not just material wealth, but also richness in relationships, in experiences, in personal growth, in the ability to make a positive impact on the world. Embrace this expanded definition of abundance. Let your assumption of being surrounded by abundance infuse all areas of your life with richness and plenty. Assume a state of abundance in love, in health, in wisdom, and joy. For in doing so, you are assuming the state of your highest, most abundant self. In closing, my dear friends, remember this: you are not bound by your current circumstances. You are not limited by your past experiences with scarcity. You are a divine, infinite being capable of assuming any state you choose. The state of being surrounded by abundance is available to you right now, in this very moment. Choose it. Assume it. Live from it. Ignore the contradictory evidence of your senses and persist in your assumption. For as you do, you are reshaping your entire world. You are stepping into the full power of your divine creativity. Go forth from here with this knowledge. Apply these principles in your daily life. Be aware of your thoughts, your feelings, your assumptions about abundance. Use your imagination consciously and deliberately to live as if you are already surrounded by abundance. Persist in your assumption, even when the outer world seems to contradict it. And above all, have faith. Faith in the law, faith in the process, faith in your own divine nature as a creative being. For as you master the art of acting as if you are surrounded by abundance, you step into your true power as the author of your life story. Remember, the power to change your reality lies within you. It always has. You are not bound by economic conditions, by your background, or by your current bank balance. You are bound only by the limits of your imagination and your willingness to assume the state of being surrounded by abundance. Embrace this truth. Live from this understanding. And watch as your world transforms around you, reflecting the newfound abundance you have assumed into being. Thank you. And may your journey of conscious creation be filled with infinite abundance, joy, and the thrill of manifesting your most abundant, expansive self. Many of you come here seeking a change in your circumstances, a transformation in your experience of life. You desire new blessings, greater abundance, deeper love, vibrant health, or perhaps a fuller expression of your talents and gifts. I tell you with absolute conviction that these desires are not merely wishful thinking. They are the whispers of your divine nature calling you to claim what is already yours. Let us begin by understanding what transformation truly means. Transformation is not merely an outward change of circumstances. It is fundamentally a change in consciousness. When your consciousness is transformed, your world must follow. For the outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner assumptions. In the book of Romans it is written, "Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." This is the secret of all genuine transformation. The renewal of your mind, your consciousness, is the prerequisite for the renewal of your life experience. Tonight I want you to grasp this truth. God is not outside of you working to change your circumstances. God is your own wonderful human imagination, and He works from you, not to you, you are for you. The power that transforms your life is already within you, waiting to be recognized and expressed. When I speak of God leading you into new blessings, I am referring to the movement of your own divine imagination as it guides you toward the fulfillment of your desires. Your imagination is God in action. It is the creative power through which all things are made possible. Let me share with you a principle that, once understood and applied, will accelerate your transformation more than any other. It is this: you must assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You must enter in imagination into the state of consciousness that would be yours if your desire were already realized. If you desire wealth, you must feel wealthy now. If you desire health, you must feel healthy now. If you desire love, you must feel loved now. The feeling is the secret. The feeling, when persisted in, will harden into fact. I remember a lady who attended my lectures in New York. She came to me in desperation, having lost her job, depleted her savings, and faced eviction from her apartment. She told me she needed a miracle within 30 days. I instructed her to imagine each night before sleep that she was in her own apartment, secure and at peace, with more than enough money to meet her needs. I told her to make this imaginal act so real that it would have the tones of reality. She was to feel the relief, the security, the gratitude that would be hers if her problems were solved. She was faithful to this instruction, and before the 30 days had elapsed, she received an unexpected inheritance from a relative she barely knew. The sum was more than sufficient to secure her home and establish a foundation for future abundance. Was this a coincidence? I tell you, there is no such thing as coincidence. There is only the working of law. She had impressed her subconscious mind with a new concept of herself, and her outer world reshaped itself to match this inner conviction. This season of transformation that you have entered is governed by immutable spiritual laws. The first of these laws is the law of consciousness. Your consciousness is the sole cause of your experience. Nothing comes to you except what comes through you, through your consciousness. Many of you believe that your circumstances are caused by factors outside yourself, the economy, other people, past events, or even fate. But I tell you, these are only the effects, never the cause. The sole cause of the phenomena of life is consciousness. Change your consciousness of yourself and your world, and you change your world. The second law governing your transformation is the law of assumption. Whatever state you assume, consciously or unconsciously, that you will express, and whatever state you express, that you will become. Therefore, to transform your life, you must assume the state of consciousness that would be yours if you are already the person you wish to be, having the things you desire to have. This is not pretense or make-believe. This is the creative use of your imagination to impress upon your subconscious mind a new concept of yourself. Your subconscious does not argue or question. It simply accepts what you impress upon it through your conscious assumptions, and then works faithfully to bring these assumptions into your visible. The third law governing your transformation is the law of expression. What you express, you experience. What you experience, you become. Therefore, to enter your season of new blessings, you must express the qualities and characteristics of Tekla. If you desire abundance, express generosity. If you desire love, express love. If you desire success, express the qualities of success, confidence, competence, persistence, and optimistic expectation. The world mirrors back to you what you express from within. Now let me show you how to apply these laws practically to accelerate your transformation. First, clarify in your mind exactly what you desire. Be specific. If it is a new home, envision a detail. If it is a loving relationship, feel the presence of your ideal partner. If it is career advancement, see yourself performing your new role with confidence and skill. Next, create a scene in your imagination that implies the fulfillment of your desire. This scene, when entered into fully, produces a sense of naturalness and reality. It should be a scene that would naturally occur after your desire is realized. For instance, if your desire is for a promotion at work, imagine a friend congratulating you on your new position. Hear their voice, feel their handshake or embrace, experience the joy of sharing your good news. Make it as vivid and real as possible. Then, in a state of deep relaxation, preferably just before sleep when your mind is most receptive, enter into this scene. Become so absorbed in it that it feels more real than your present circumstances. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the sense of fulfillment that would be yours if your desire were already accomplished. Do this night after night, and you will be amazed at how quickly your outer world begins to reorganize itself to match your inner conviction. This is not magic. It is the operation of spiritual law. One of the most common obstacles to transformation is the tendency to look for evidence in the outer world before believing in the reality of your original act. But this is backwards. You must believe in order to see, not see in order to believe. In the Gospel of Mark, Jesus says, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." Note the tense, believe that you have received it, not that you will receive it. This is the secret of successful prayer. Prayer is not begging or pleading with a God outside yourself. True prayer is the feeling of gratitude and fulfillment that comes from consciously entering the state of your wish fulfilled. When you pray in this manner, you activate the creative power of your subconscious mind, which then works tirelessly to bring about the conditions necessary for the fulfillment of your desire. Another obstacle to transformation is the habit of negative self-talk and doubt. Many of you sabotage your own transformation by continually affirming your limitations and problems. Remember, your word is your wand. Whatever you affirm with conviction becomes your experience. Therefore, guard your thoughts and words carefully. Speak as though your desires are already fulfilled. Use the language of fulfillment, not of want or lack. Instead of saying, "I want better health," say, "I am grateful for my vibrant health." Instead of saying, "I need more money," say, "I am abundantly supplied with anything I need." This is not self-deception. It is the conscious use of the creative power of your word to establish a new pattern in your subconscious mind. Now let us go deeper into the nature of this season of transformation. A season suggests a period of time with a beginning and an end. But from the perspective of divine mind, Time is an illusion. All states of consciousness exist simultaneously in the eternal now. What appears to you as a process unfolding over time is, in reality, the movement of your awareness from one state to another. The state you desire already exists in its completeness. Your transformation is simply the journey of your consciousness from where you are to where you wish to be. This journey, while it appears to take place in time, is actually a shift in identity. You are moving from one concept of self to another. As your self-concept changes, your experience changes to match it. In the book of Exodus, when Moses asked God for his name, God replied, I am that I am. This is the foundation of all transformation. Whatever you attach to the statement I am defines your reality. Change your I am, and you change your life. If you habitually declare I am sick, I am broke, I am unlucky in love, you bind yourself to these conditions. But when you boldly declare I am whole, I am abundantly supplied, I am loved and loving, you set in motion the forces that will transform your experience to match these declarations. The power of the I am cannot be overestimated. It is the creative power of God in you, and it shapes your world according to your use of it. Therefore, be supremely careful of what you attach to these two potent words. Now, as you enter this season of transformation, you must be willing to let go of the old to make way for the new. This is the principle of death and rebirth that we see throughout nature and Scripture. In the Gospel of John, Jesus says, unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone, but if it dies, it bears much fruit. This is the pattern of all genuine transformation. The old self must die for the new self to be born. This does not mean physical death, but the death of old concepts, old beliefs, and old patterns of thought that no longer serve your highest good. As you let go of these limitations, you create space for your new blessings to manifest. Many of you cling to your problems, your grievances, your stories of limitation and lack, as though they were precious possessions. But I tell you, you must be willing to release them, to let them die, in order to experience the rebirth of your consciousness in a higher state. This release happens not by fighting against the old, but by simply occupying a new state of consciousness. As you persist in your new assumption, the old fades away naturally, just as darkness disappears with the coming of light. Let me share with you another principle that will orchestrate your transformation, the principle of Sabbath. In the biblical tradition, the Sabbath is a day of rest, a day when one ceases from all labor and simply enjoys the fruits of previous work. In the context of conscious creation, the Sabbath represents the mental attitude of rest that comes from knowing that your work is done. After you have performed your imaginal act, entering fully into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you must rest in the conviction that the seed has been planted and will, in due course, bear fruit. This rest is not inactivity, but a peaceful confidence, a cessation of anxiety and effort. It is the opposite of the frantic striving that characterizes so much of human endeavor. When you truly understand that your imaginal act is the cause, and that the outer manifestation must follow as effect, you can rest from your mental labor. You need not constantly repeat your imaginative work or worry about results. The seed has been planted, and it will grow in its appointed time. This Sabbath state of mind is crucial to successful manifestation. Many of you sabotage your creative work by continually digging up the seed to see if it's growing. You vacillate between states, sometimes believing in your desires' fulfillment, sometimes doubting, sometimes hoping, sometimes fearing. But the law operates with mathematical precision. What you sow, you reap. If you sow a seed of fulfillment by assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and then rest in that assumption, the harvest is certain. Now let us address another aspect of this season of transformation, the role of divine timing. While all states exist now in the realm of pure potential, their expression in your three-dimensional reality unfolds according to what Scripture calls the fullness of time. In Ecclesiastes, it is written, to everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven. Divine timing is perfect, and it takes into account factors beyond your conscious awareness. Sometimes there are lessons to be learned understandings to be gained, or preparations to be made before your desire can manifest in its fullest form. Trust the wisdom of your deeper self, which knows the perfect timing for all things. This does not mean passive waiting. It means actively maintaining the consciousness of your wish fulfilled while going about your daily life with confidence and peace. The bridge of incidents that leads to your desire's fulfillment is being built, even when you cannot yet see it. Often, what appears to be a delay or even a setback is actually part of the perfect pattern leading to your good. In hindsight, you will see that every step of the journey was necessary and perfectly timed. Remember, too, that transformation rarely happens in a straight line. There may be periods of rapid change followed by plateaus where nothing seems to be happening. There may be temporary setbacks or challenges that test your faith in the process. These apparent obstacles are not indications of failure, but opportunities for deeper understanding and stronger commitment to your vision. Each challenge overcome strengthens your faith in the creative power within you and prepares you for greater expansions of that power. The key is to maintain your chosen state of consciousness regardless of appearances. This is what Jesus meant when he said, "Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment." Righteous judgment is judgment according to the truth of your being, not according to temporary conditions. When outer circumstances seem to contradict your inner assumption, that is the time to stand firm in your conviction. Reaffirm the truth of your being. Re-enter the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Remember that appearances are the effects of past thinking, while your present assumption is creating your future experience. This steadfastness in the face of contrary evidence is the mark of spiritual maturity. It is the faith that moves mountains. It is the certainty that what is impressed on your subconscious mind must express itself in your outer world, regardless of seeming impossibilities. Now, let us consider another dimension of your transformation, the transformation of your relationships. Many of you desire changes in your relationships with others, more love, more understanding, more harmony, more mutual respect. The principle that governs all relationships is simple yet profound. You can only experience in others what you first find in yourself. Your relationships mirror your self-concept. How you see yourself determines how others see and treat you. If you feel unworthy of love, you will find evidence of your unworthiness in your relationships. If you feel worthy of the highest love and respect, you will experience that worthiness reflected back to you by others. Therefore, to transform any relationship, you must first transform your concept of yourself in relation to the other person. See yourself as loving and loved, as understanding and understood, as appreciating and appreciated. Feel the reality of this new relationship within yourself and persist in this feeling until it externalizes in your experience. Remember, too, that everyone in your life is yourself pushed out. They are acting according to your concept of them. Change your concept, and their behavior towards you must change. This does not mean manipulating others or imposing your will upon them. It means recognizing that your consciousness is the cause of your experience of others and taking responsibility for that consciousness. When you truly grasp this principle, you will no longer blame others for your relationship problems. You will recognize that the power to transform all your relationships lies within you, in your concept of yourself and others. This brings us to another important aspect of your season of transformation, the role of gratitude. Gratitude is not merely a pleasant emotion. It is a transformative force that accelerates the manifestation of your desires. When you express gratitude for what you have received in imagination, you affirm the reality of your desire's fulfillment. You align your emotional state with the state of fulfillment, and this alignment is magnetic to similar experiences in your outer world. Gratitude also keeps you focused on abundance rather than lack. What you focus on expands in your experience. When you count your blessings multiply. When you dwell on your problems persist and grow. Therefore, make gratitude a daily practice. Before sleep each night, review the events of your day and find reasons to be grateful. Include in your gratitude not only what is already manifested, but also what exists in your imagination as fulfilled desire. Thank God, your wonderful human imagination, for the perfect fulfillment of your desires. Feel the joy and relief of problems solved, desires fulfilled, and prayers answered. This attitude of thankfulness is the fertile soil in which the seeds of your desires grow and flourish. Now I want to address a question that many of you have asked. What about the desires that seem to go unfulfilled despite your faithful application of these principles? First, understand that no sincere desire placed in your heart is ever denied. What appears as denial is redirection, or the manifestation of something better than what you initially conceived. Second, examine your consciousness honestly. Are you maintaining two opposing states simultaneously? Are you affirming abundance while secretly fearing lack? Are you claiming health while dwelling on symptoms? This divided mind dilutes the power of your creative imagination. James wrote, "A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Let not that man think he shall receive anything of the Lord." Single-mindedness, unwavering focus on your desired state is essential for successful manifestation. Third, consider whether your desire is truly your own or an adopted belief about what you should want. True desires come from your deeper self and are charged with emotional energy. Artificial desires, those based on social expectations or comparison with others, lack this emotional charge completely, if at all. Finally, be open to the possibility that your deeper self knows better than your conscious mind what will truly fulfill you. Sometimes what appears an unfulfilled desire is actually your higher self guiding you towards something more aligned with your true purpose and joy. Trust this inner wisdom. It is the voice of God within you, leading you to your highest good, even when the path differs from your conscious expectations. As we move deeper into this teaching of transformation, I want to emphasize the importance of persistence. Many of you begin well applying these principles with enthusiasm, but abandon your efforts when results are not immediately apparent. Persist in your chosen state is crucial. In the parable of the sower, Jesus speaks that the seed that fell on good ground brought forth fruit 30-fold, 60-fold, and some 100-fold. The difference in yield was not in the quality of the seed, but in the conditions that allowed for full development. Your imaginal act is the seed. The soil is your subconscious mind. The conditions that determine the harvest are your persistence in maintaining the feeling of your wish fulfilled, your emotional commitment to your vision, and your unwavering faith in the creative process. Some desires manifest quickly, others take longer. The time required depends on many factors: the nature of the desire, the gap between your current state and your desired state, the degree of conviction with which you hold your new assumption, and the readiness of your subconscious mind to accept the new pattern. Do not be discouraged by apparent delays. Remember Habakkuk's words, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, for it surely come. It will not tarry." This paradoxical statement, "though it tarry, it will not tarry," suggests that while there may seem to be a delay from your time-bound perspective, from the eternal perspective, every desire manifests at exactly the right moment, neither too soon nor too late. Trust the process. Hold steady in your assumption. Know that the laws of mind are as reliable as the laws of physics. What you have planted in consciousness must manifest in experience, according to the pattern you have established. Now let us consider another dimension of your season of transformation, the transformation of your purpose and contribution to the world. Many of you desire not only personal fulfillment, but also the opportunity to make a meaningful difference in the lives of others. This desire for significance, for contribution, for leaving a positive mark on the world is one of the noblest aspects of human nature. It reflects your understanding, conscious or unconscious, that you are more than a physical being seeking physical satisfactions. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. And your greatest joy comes from expressing your spiritual nature through service and contribution. How then do you transform your sense of purpose and maximize your contribution? By the same principle that governs all transformation, a change in consciousness. See yourself as already fulfilling your highest purpose. Feel the satisfaction of making your unique contribution. Experience in imagination the joy of using your special gifts in service to others. Feel the gratitude of those whose lives are touched by your work. As you persist in this new self-concept, opportunities for meaningful service will naturally appear in your experience. You will be guided to the right circumstances, the right people, the right timing for the expression of your purpose. Remember, too, that purpose is not always grand or dramatic. Sometimes the most meaningful contributions are made through simple acts of kindness, through being fully present with another person, through bringing more love and awareness to whatever work you currently do. Your unique purpose is not something you need to invent or acquire. It is already within you, waiting to be recognized and expressed. It is the natural outgrowth of your authentic self, your true identity. As your consciousness transforms through the application of these principles, your sense of identity expands. You begin to recognize yourself as more than a person with a particular name, body, personality, and history. You recognize yourself as an individualized expression of the divine, a unique emanation of the one created consciousness that underlies all existence. This expanded self-awareness is the ultimate transformation, the realization of your true nature. It is what Jesus referred to when he said, "The kingdom of God is within you." It is what Paul meant by Christ in you, the hope of glory. From this awareness, you naturally express your divine nature in ways that bless both yourself and others. Your life becomes a channel for the expression of love, wisdom, creativity, abundance, and joy. Your unique gifts and talents are employed in service to the greater good, not from obligation, but from the overflow of your inner fulfillment. This is the true meaning of your season of transformation. It is not merely a change in circumstances, but an awakening to your divine nature and the limitless possibilities that flow from that awakening. Now, as we approach the conclusion of our discussion, I want to leave you with a practical exercise that will help you anchor these principles in your daily experience and accelerate your transformation. Each night, before you sleep, enter into a state of deep relaxation. Let go of the concerns and activities of the day. Quiet your mind and body until you feel a sense of peace and receptivity. Then, mentally review your day from the perspective of your wish fulfilled. Revise any events that were less than perfect, seeing them now as you would have preferred them to be. Experience the joy of your desires already fulfilled, the relief of your problems already solved, the gratitude for your prayers already answered. Next, select a scene that implies the fulfillment of your heart's desire. Make it short, simple, and as vivid as possible. A handshake of congratulation, a phone call sharing good news, the sight of a new home or car, the feeling of perfect health and energy, whatever scene naturally implies that your desires now are reality. Enter into this scene completely. Be there. Make it as real as possible, engaging all your senses. See the details, hear the sounds, feel the textures and emotions. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to your scene, enhancing its reality with each return. Continue this imaginal act until it takes on the feeling of reality, until it feels more real than your present circumstances. Then, rest in the satisfied feeling of your wish fulfilled as you drift off to sleep. This exercise, practiced faithfully, impresses your subconscious mind with the pattern of fulfillment. Your subconscious, which knows no limits and recognizes no impossibilities, then works to bring about the conditions, events, and circumstances necessary for the realization of your desire. Do this not once or twice, but consistently, until your outer world conforms to your inner conviction. Remember that feeling is the secret. When your imaginal act produces the feeling of fulfillment, the seed has been planted and the harvest is assured. As you practice this exercise night after night, you will notice a gradual shift in your daily consciousness. You will begin to think, feel, and act from the perspective of your wish fulfilled. Your words, actions, and attitudes will naturally align with your inner conviction. This alignment is crucial, for it prevents the inner conflict that so often sabotages manifestation. When your conscious beliefs, your subconscious programming, and your outer expression are all in harmony, you become a powerful channel for the manifestation of your desires. Remember, your transformation is not dependent on outer circumstances or other people. It is an inside job, a shift in consciousness that then expresses itself in changed circumstances. As within, so without. As above, so below. This is the law. And now I want to emphasize a truth that many of you overlook. The law of assumption works not only for specific desires, but also for states of consciousness. You can assume a state of grace, a state of abundance, a state of love, a state of security, or any other state. And this assumption persisted in will externalize itself in your experience. In fact, assuming a state is more powerful than focusing on specific objects or events. When you occupy a state, say the state of wealth, specific expressions of wealth naturally follow without the need for detailed visualization of each manifestation. This is why Jesus taught his disciples to seek first the kingdom of God, the state of fulfillment and rightness, and its righteousness, right use of the creative law, promising that all these things, specific manifestations, would be added unto them. So in your imaginal work, focus not only on specific outcomes, but also on the state of consciousness that those outcomes represent. What state would you be in if your desire were fulfilled? Peace, joy, freedom, security, love. Enter that state in your imagination, embody it fully, and watch as your outer world reshapes itself to match your inner state. This season of transformation that you have entered is not temporary. It is the beginning of a new way of living, a new understanding of yourself and your relationship to the creative power within you. It is the dawn of your conscious participation in the creative process of life. You are not merely a creature of circumstances subject to the whims of chance or the actions of others. You are a creative being endowed with the same creative power that fashioned the universe. This power, your own wonderful human imagination, is God in action. And it is the instrument of your transformation. Use this power consciously, lovingly, and wisely. Use it to create a life that reflects your highest vision of yourself and your world. Use it to bless yourself and others, to bring more love, more beauty, more abundance, and more joy into expression. Know that as you transform your own consciousness, you contribute to the transformation of collective consciousness. Your individual awakening is part of a larger awakening that is occurring throughout humanity. Your light, as it grows brighter, helps illuminate the path for others. This is your season of transformation. God, your own wonderful human imagination, is leading you into blessings. These blessings are not in some distant future. They exist now in your consciousness, waiting to be recognized, claimed, and expressed in your experience. I challenge you to live from this truth, to test it in the laboratory of your own life. Apply these principles faithfully and watch as your world transforms before your eyes. The power is within you. The time is now. Your season of transformation has begun. In closing, let me remind you of a profound truth expressed in the first chapter of Genesis. After each act of creation, God saw that it was good. This is the pattern for your own creative work. See your creation as complete and perfect. Pronounce it good. Rest in the satisfaction of creative fulfillment. Then, like the divine creator of which you are an individualized expression, move on to your next creation, bringing more and more of your infinite potential into expression, blessing yourself and your world in ever-expanding ways. This is your divine destiny. This is your season of transformation. Embrace it fully and step into the greater expression of who you truly are. Thank you for your attention. And may your transformation be swift, complete, and filled with joy. Let us begin by understanding that your home, your sacred space, is not merely a physical structure of brick and mortar. It is a living, breathing extension of your own mind. Every object within its walls, every picture hung, every trinket displayed, is imbued with the power of your attention and belief. These items are not inert. They are active participants in the grand drama of your life, playing roles assigned to them by your imagination. What we commonly refer to as demons are nothing more than undesirable states of consciousness, negative patterns of thought and emotion that we have allowed to take root in our minds. These demons do not exist outside of us. They are not separate entities lurking in the shadows. They are creations of our own making, given life by our fears, doubts, and limiting beliefs. The items in your home that attract demons are those that reinforce these negative states of consciousness. They are the physical anchors for the undesirable conditions in your life. But remember, it is not the items themselves that possess any inherent power. It is the meaning you assign to them, the stories you tell yourself about them, that give them their influence over your life. Consider for a moment a broken mirror. In many cultures, this is considered an item of bad luck, said to bring 7 years of misfortune. But ask yourself, does the mirror itself hold any power? Is there some mystical force contained within its shattered surface? Of course not. The power lies in the belief, in the expectation of misfortune that arises whenever you gaze upon that broken reflection. If you accept the idea that a broken mirror brings bad luck, if you feel a sense of dread or unease every time you pass by it, then you are, in essence, inviting that negative state of consciousness into your life. You are opening the door to the demon of misfortune, allowing it to take up residence in your home and your mind. But here's the liberating truth. You have the power to change this. You can remove these demon-attracting items from your home, not by physically discarding them, but by changing your relationship to them, by altering your perception, by refusing to give them power over your emotional state. You can transform these objects from harbingers of negativity into new neutral or even positive influences in your life. Let us consider another common household item that is often associated with negative energy: clocks that no longer work. Many people believe that a stopped clock brings stagnation into their lives, that it somehow freezes progress and growth. But I ask you, is it the clock that has stopped, or is it your own sense of forward momentum? The stopped clock becomes a demon attractor only when you allow it to remind you of wasted time, of opportunities lost, of dreams unfulfilled. But what if instead you chose to see that stopped clock as a reminder that time is an illusion, that the eternal now is all that truly exists? What if you used it as a symbol of your power to step outside the relentless march of minutes and hours to access the timeless realm of pure potential? You see, the power to transform these demon-attracting items lies entirely within you. It is your consciousness, your imagination, that gives them their significance. And just as easily as you can imbue an object with negative associations, you can infuse it with positive, uplifting energy. Now let us turn our attention to another category of items that are often said to attract negative energies: sharp objects. Knives, scissors, needles. These are tools that many believe should not be left out in the open, lest they cut the positive flow of energy in a home. But again, I urge you to look beyond the physical nature of these objects and consider the beliefs you hold about them. A knife, in its essence, is a tool of transformation. It has the power to divide, yes, but also to create. In the hands of a skilled chef, a knife becomes an instrument of culinary artistry. In the hands of a surgeon, it becomes a tool of healing. The knife itself is neutral. It is our perception and use of it that determines its impact on our lives. If you see a knife and feel fear, if you associate it only with violence or harm, then indeed it may become a conduit for negative energy in your home. But what if you chose to see that knife as a symbol of your own power to cut through illusions, to slice away the unnecessary, to carve out a life of beauty and purpose? In doing so, you transform it from a demon attractor into a talisman of personal power and positive change. The same principle applies to all sharp objects in your home. Scissors can be seen as tools of division, or they can represent your ability to cut ties with limiting beliefs and relationships that no longer serve you. Needles can be viewed as instruments of pain, or they can symbolize your power to mend, to create, to weave the fabric of your desired reality. It is not the objects themselves that need to be removed from your home. It is the negative associations, the limiting beliefs, the fearful expectations that must be cast out. And this process of removal happens not in the physical world, but in the realm of your imagination. Now let us address another category of items often believed to attract negative energies, mirrors. We've already touched upon the superstition surrounding broken mirrors, but even intact mirrors are sometimes viewed with suspicion. Some believe that mirrors can act as portals, allowing negative entities to enter our homes. Others warn against sleeping with a mirror facing the bed, claiming it can disturb our rest and drain our energy. But I say to you, a mirror is nothing more than a reflective surface. It has no power to invite or repel any form of energy, negative or positive. The only thing a mirror can reflect is what already exists, and that includes the contents of your own mind. If you look into a mirror and see something frightening, if you feel a sense of unease or dread, it is not because the mirror is a portal for demons. It is because you are confronting aspects of yourself that you have not yet fully accepted or integrated. The demons you perceive are nothing more than fragmented parts of your own psyche, crying out for acknowledgement and healing. Instead of removing mirrors from your home, I encourage you to use them as tools for self-reflection and growth. When you gaze into a mirror, do so with the intention of seeing your divine self, the perfect whole and complete being that you truly are. Use the mirror as a reminder of your own creative power, of your ability to shape your reality through the power of your imagination. If you find yourself troubled by your reflection, if you see imperfections or flaws that disturb you, remember that you have the power to change what you see, not by altering your physical appearance, but by shifting your perception, by choosing to see yourself through the eyes of love and acceptance. The mirror, like every other object in your home, is a blank canvas upon which you project your belief states and expectations. Choose to make it a reflection of your highest self, a reminder of your inherent divinity, and it will become a source of positive energy and inspiration in your life. Let us now turn our attention to another category of items often associated with negative energy, inherited objects or antiques. Many people believe that old items, especially those passed down through generations, can carry the energetic imprints of their previous owners. They fear that these objects might bring outdated patterns, unresolved conflicts, or even the demons of their ancestors into their homes. But I say to you, an object has no power to carry or transmit energy unless you believe it does. An antique chair is just a chair. A family heirloom is just an object until you assign it meaning through your imagination. The power lies not in the item itself, but in the story you tell yourself about it. If you receive an inherited item and immediately associate it with family trauma or generational struggles, then indeed it may become a conduit for those negative patterns in your life. But what if you chose to see that same item as a symbol of your family's resilience, as a testament to the strength and endurance of those who came before you? What if you used it as a reminder of your power to break negative cycles, to heal ancestral wounds, to create a new legacy for future generations? The choice is yours. You can remove these items from your home if they truly bring you discomfort. But I suggest a different approach. Instead of discarding these links to your past, why not use them as anchors for a new narrative? Imagine infusing them with your highest aspirations, your most positive intentions for yourself and your lineage. In doing so, you transform them from potential demon attractors into powerful talismans of generational healing and positive transformation. Let us address a category of items that many consider to be protective against negative energies, but which can, paradoxically, become attractors of the very things they're meant to repel: religious or spiritual objects. Crucifixes, statues of deities, sacred texts, crystals, these are all items that people often use with the intention of warding off demons or negative energies. But here's a truth that may challenge your current beliefs. These objects, in and of themselves, have no inherent protective power. A crucifix is just two intersecting lines until you imbue it with meaning. A crystal is just a pretty rock until you assign it spiritual significance. A statue is just shaped stone or metal until you decide it represents a divine being. The power of these objects lies not in their physical form, but in your belief in them. And herein lies the potential if you believe these objects to protect you from negative energies. You are, in essence, affirming the reality and power of those negative forces. You are saying to the universe, I am vulnerable, I am at risk. I need protection from these demons that I believe exist and have power over me. In doing so, you may inadvertently be attracting the very energies you're trying to repel. Not because the objects themselves are demon attractors, but because your belief in the need for protection stems from a place of fear, of lack of vulnerability. And what we fear, what we constantly guard against, has a way of manifesting in our experience. Instead of relying on external objects for protection, I urge you to recognize the divine power that resides within you. You are not a vulnerable being in need of protection from external forces. You are a creator, a divine being made in the image and likeness of God. The only demons that can affect you are those that you give power to through your own imagination and belief. If you choose to keep religious or spiritual objects in your home, do so not out of fear or a need for protection, but as reminders of your own divinity. Let a crucifix remind you of the power of love and forgiveness. Let a crystal remind you of the beauty and perfection inherent in all of creation. Let a statue of a deity remind you of the God-like qualities that reside within you. By shifting your perspective in this way, you transform these objects from crutches that support a belief in your own vulnerability into powerful symbols of your inherent divinity and creative power. You remove their status as potential demon attractors and turn them into beacons of positive, life-affirming energy in your home. Now let us delve into a category of items that many consider to be particularly potent attractors of negative energy. Objects associated with the occult or magical practices. Ouija boards, tarot cards, spell books. These are items that often inspire fear and unease, even in those who don't believe in their efficacy. But I say to you, there is no inherent power in these objects. A Ouija board is just a piece of wood with letters and numbers printed on it. Tarot cards are just pieces of paper with images. Spell books are just collections of words. They have no more power to attract demons or negative energies than a children's board game or a deck of playing cards. The power that people attribute to these items comes entirely from their own beliefs and expectations. If you believe that a Ouija board can open a portal to a dark realm, if you approach it with fear and trepidation, then you are creating the very conditions for a negative experience. You are, in essence, scripting a horror movie in your mind and then projecting it onto a harmless object. But what if you chose to see these items differently? What if, instead of fearing them, you recognize them as tools for introspection and self-discovery? A Ouija board could be seen as a means of accessing your own subconscious mind, of bringing hidden thoughts and feelings to the surface. Tarot cards could be viewed as prompts for self-reflection, as mirrors that reflect different aspects of your psyche. Spell books could be understood as collections of affirmations and visualizations, tools for focusing your intention and directing your creative energy. The key is to remember that these objects have no power other than what you give them. They cannot invite demons into your home because demons as separate entities with power over you do not exist. The only demons are the fears, doubts, and limiting beliefs that you allow to take root in your own mind. If you truly feel uncomfortable with these items in your home, by all means, remove them. But understand that in doing so, you are not banishing external negative forces. You are making a choice about what you want to focus on, about the kind of energy you want to cultivate in your living space. And that choice, that power lies entirely within you. Now let us turn our attention to a category of items that might seem mundane, but which can have a profound impact on the energy of your home: clutter. Piles of old magazines, stacks of unopened mail, closets stuffed with clothes you never wear. These accumulations of unnecessary stuff are often cited as attractors of negative energy. But again, I urge you to look beyond the physical reality of these items and consider what they represent in your consciousness. Clutter is not inherently negative. It does not attract demons or bad luck. What it does do, however, is reflect a state of mind, a pattern of thought and behavior that may not be serving your highest good. When you allow clutter to accumulate in your home, you are, in essence, declaring to the universe that you are willing to hold on to things that no longer serve you. You are saying that you are not ready or willing to make space for new experiences, new opportunities, new growth. You are clinging to the past, to old patterns and habits, rather than embracing the possibility of change and renewal. In this sense, clutter can indeed become a demon attractor, not because it invites external negative forces into your home, but because it reinforces internal patterns of stagnation and resistance change. The demons it attracts are the familiar but limiting beliefs and behaviors that keep you stuck in old patterns, preventing you from fully stepping into your power as a creative being. But here's the liberating truth: you have the power to change this. You can remove the demon attracting influence of clutter, not just by physically cleaning your space, but by shifting your mindset about your possessions and your relationship to the material world. When you choose to declutter your home, do so with the understanding that you are not just tidying up your physical space. You are making a powerful declaration to the universe. You are saying, I am ready to release what no longer serves me. I am making space for new blessings, new opportunities, new growth in my life. As you sort through your possessions, do so with mindfulness and intention. Ask yourself, does this item reflect who I am now or who I was in the past? Does it support my highest vision for my life, or is it holding me back in some way? Be willing to let go of things that no longer align with your current self, your current goals and aspirations. Remember, the act of decluttering is not about achieving some external standard of tidiness. It's about creating a living space that reflects and supports your inner state of being. It's about aligning your physical environment with your highest intentions for your life. As you create more space in your home, imagine that you are also creating space in your mind for new ideas, new possibilities, new manifestations of your desires. See the open spaces in your home as symbolic of the open, receptive state of your consciousness, ready to receive all the good that the universe has to offer. In this way, you transform the act of decluttering from a mundane chore into a powerful spiritual practice. You remove the demon attracting influence of clutter not by fighting against negative energy, but by actively cultivating a state of openness, receptivity, and alignment with your highest self. Now let us address another category of items that are often associated with negative energy: electronic devices. In our modern world, we are surrounded by smartphones, computers, televisions, and other gadgets. While these devices are undeniably useful, many people believe that they can disrupt the natural energy flow in a home, leading to stress, insomnia, and other issues. But I say to you, these devices, like everything else we've discussed, have no inherent power to attract negative energy or demons. They are simply tools, neither good nor bad in themselves. It is our relationship to them, our patterns of use, and the meaning we assign to them that determines their impact on our lives and our homes. If you find yourself constantly stressed, anxious, or unable to relax in your home, it's easy to blame the electronic devices that surround you. But I urge you to look deeper. The issue is not with the devices themselves, but with the way you are choosing to interact with them. When you compulsively check your smartphone, when you allow the constant stream of news and social media to occupy your mind, when you use television as an escape from your thoughts and feelings, you are in essence inviting a state of distraction and disconnection into your life. You are allowing these devices to dictate your thoughts, emotions, and energy. In this sense, they can indeed become demon attractors, not because they emit some mysterious negative force, but because they can reinforce patterns of behavior that separate you from your true self, from your inner peace and power. But the solution is not to remove all electronic devices from your home. Instead, I encourage you to change your relationship with these tools. Use them consciously with intention. Set boundaries around their use. Create spaces in your home that are free from electronic devices where you can connect with yourself, with loved ones, with the natural rhythms of life. When you do use your devices, do so with awareness. Before you pick up your smartphone or turn on your computer, pause for a moment. Set an intention for how you want to use this tool. Ask yourself, is this supporting my highest good? Is this aligning me with my true desires and aspirations? By bringing consciousness to your use of technology, you transform these potential demon attractors into tools for growth, connection, and positive change. Remember, the power lies not in the objects themselves, but in your consciousness, in your imagination. Every item in your home, from the grandest piece of furniture to the smallest trinket, from the most advanced electronic device to the simplest household tool, is a blank slate upon which you project your beliefs, your expectations, your state of being. There are no demon-attracting items. There are only the demons of your own limiting beliefs, fears, and negative expectations. The true work of removing these demon-attracting influences from your home is not a physical process of discarding objects. It is an internal process of transforming your consciousness. It is about choosing moment by moment to align yourself with your highest vision of who you are and what you want to create in your life. It is about recognizing your power as a divine being, as a creator made in the image and likeness of God. As you move through your home, as you interact with the objects in your environment, do so with this awareness. See each item as a reflection of your own consciousness, as an opportunity to reinforce your highest truths. Choose to imbue your space with love, with joy, with peace. For in doing so, you are not just changing the energy of your home, you are changing the very fabric of your reality. You are declaring to the universe, I am the master of my world. I choose what influences me. I create my own experience. And in that declaration lies the true power to banish all demons, to create a home and a life filled with light, love, and limitless possibility.